you're looking at a quite interesting feature. See that almost sheer face? People have been going up and down there with Land Rovers or something, because they haven't come only down, because I walked up and at the top it's just surrounded with bushes, you can't go through. Not realistically anyway. So they've gone up and then come back down again. This is, oh sorry, this is Boltby Bank. I just, to be honest, I'd been to Thirsk and we used to come here as kids. My dad used to have a bit of a thing about coming to Boltby Bank on Sunday. It's hard to believe really. See how he was in later years, he wouldn't have done it. But we did live nearer to here. But I have no idea what we did, or I don't even remember it really. But it's quite interesting view of a point. But it's not particularly like photogenic because everything is like 50 miles away. That says no motorbikes, but I do wonder if you can actually get through to a track which is a bike route. And so it's 4:30, surprisingly. There's winter barley there just about coming into here. The flag leaf's emerged anyway. I've just been through it with fungicide. Look at it. What are we looking at here? It's a forest track and you have some newly cleared land now. It's always difficult trying to work out what and where you're looking at. I see, see it in relation to Hornby Hill now. They seem to be clearing a surprising lot of forest. It's all planted, of course. Surprising thing if we come along here and see that bit of woodland on the left there, it looks like there's a bit of a dry gill, but like 100 yards down here there's a tremendous drop off the edge of there. Quite surprising. Don't think it's a quarry, it's just like a natural cliff face. They may have taken a few stones out where it's quite decent stone. If you come and stop and look over, you'll often see people learning to abseil and things, or climbing it. There used to be signs up saying dangerous drop or something. Because you know, it's so unexpected that you could sort of let the kids out or the dogs out and they're going to fall over. I don't think anyone ever did. But this whole area is rather weird, frankly. There's these other bits, because of the underlying limestone, which is prone to like fissures, and some of them have water running in intermittently. What's that there? Oh, that looked like a little dummy or something sat there. There is a sign there about something about danger. Small green sign. But anyway, there's these features, for want of a better word. Where are these chaps going? I'll wait here because it's a nice view anyway. On the left, I'll just show you that quickly. That's Hornby village, it's on the left, and Hornby Hill. Behind that there's a transmitter for Hillsdale. And cars coming along. But anyway. I think I'll go around to the right through the big Ford thing. I'll probably regret this. It's a quiet day today. But anyway, as I was saying, that there was these features, natural features as well as features, and some of them at least are known as the windy pits because they're so extensive and interlinking that you often, some of them have like winds coming out of them. Obviously it gets in somewhere else, God knows where, puts a pressure on it, and like a wind blows in or out of these fissures, which are just like an opening in a field somewhere, with no obvious ideas of how on earth they're formed. But anyway, some of them have got rather grisly secrets in them, but so used, well, for burials essentially, except that there's some evidence that people were thrown down alive. So in the distant past there was like warring tribes and such like, and if they caught the ones they've been having a war with, how do you get rid of them? Like, chuck them down the windy pit. But of course the uses of them may well have varied through time. It might have been considered a privilege to be buried in the windy pit. Or they may have even descended with ropes and carefully placed bodies, I don't know. But there's definitely some of them, well, there's like things like animal bones where things have fallen in. Oh shit. We could do that. I was going to tell you backing up, but he seemed to know what he was doing. That disrupted my flow. Anyway, there was these animal bones things, and they weren't just like recent animals like sheep. Got some of the things which used to live here possibly before the last ice age, so there's like lions and lynx and things like that. As well as like ice age species like saber-toothed tiger. Not saying that's what there was found, but species certainly no longer around now. But there's something about hearing stories like that. I don't know, it's me that's a bit sort of sensitive, but it sort of churns my stomach thinking of them being captured and probably tortured and tied up presumably or something, I don't know, and thrown down these pits, or at least put in the pits till they die. I mean, they may not have been guaranteed to die from the fall, but they couldn't get out again because they had broken legs. This is a long time ago. However, I wouldn't be at all surprised if the most recent ones are not as distant as you'd think. Anyway, this is a rather spectacular fall. It used to be extremely rough, but just council road and concreted, and it's actually rather fun to drive. It's about 6 inches deep. It's quite deep. You just have to be careful if you come through with a bike of any description. It's quite slippery because it's sort of slimy. You have to very, very gently, because if you do slip, you're going to put your foot down, you're going to get a wet foot, aren't you? This is a fascinating little place. It's one of them places where you think, oh, I'd like to walk down there, but we never bloody will. Mind you, I don't dislike walking per se, but it sometimes seems a bit sort of poor, low return. If the time you spend, and then so the worst thing is you've sort of got to walk back again. You know what I mean? Well, if you want to come with a vehicle, you're typically doing either a circular walk or you walk up the hill and walk back down, or vice versa. I mean, if you're young and fit, it's not such a big deal. But I'll be the first to admit I'm not as fit as I was, and I wouldn't rule out like the awful possibility of getting like a bad back session or something halfway around, which is not funny, because when I've had a bad back sore before, it was totally disabling. You couldn't hardly walk 10 yards at its worst. It just comes on like in a snap. But that makes it sound like I hardly dare do anything, but I haven't had that for a number of years now. But I know it's in the back of my mind that I might, or you might have a heart attack, who knows. Should stop there really, you wouldn't know. There was a tiny little bit of paint on. This is, I can't think of the name of this village now. But we're heading towards Rievaulx. A more common little ride out. It says Thirsk and Cold Kirby, and come through there from Cold Kirby. And this way to Rievaulx, essentially. And Rievaulx is actually quite close to Helmsley, so it isn't really much further than just going straight up Sutton Bank and along the main road. Well, that has its appeal. Sutton Bank is rather wonderful, but it's not particularly nice going up. You can't stop and see out. Wondering why there's a cow and calf there. They're running about like they'd seen something they didn't like, or something they did like. You see that car? There's a car going there, and that's on the main road up to Stokesay. It's as close as that. But to get to it is rather well. It's pretty, but it's a little bit tedious. Been rolling and chain arrowing us up here. It's a bit weird. Because they aren't that late, all the hawthorns coming into blossom. It isn't hardly at home yet, not just odd ones. Man, they aren't all out here, are they? Just a few. But the last few days I've been decidedly chilly. I've had several frosts. It wasn't a frost this morning. Today's been warmer altogether. It must have been, well, the dash thing says it's 19 now, but I don't think it is. But it's at least 15 or 16, because it was nearly 17 when I left home. There's two ways to approach Rievaulx. If you want to actually go past it, you could double it back on yourself. Go, take a left there. It says Thirsk Farm, and then turn right. And in the bottom, there's a proper council stone bridge, but it's just a track. It's quite rough going. I could do it with this, but I'm not going to. I could do it with the road going by. an off-road bike is better because it can be quite slippery. Track there which looks like it maybe goes somewhere, it's just one or two fields on like a funny little promontory type hill up there. A lot of this woodland is actually like elm suckers growing up from elm trees which presumably got diseased. The result is a sort of natural coppicing effect, which is probably quite good for the wildflowers and such. But I can't say that I've seen anything particularly unusual here, even though it's rather limestone. There's some odd, like orchids, something you need to be thinking about. Another object is like toothwort, but I've not actually seen anything like that here. But you really need to stop and explore the wood. It's easier said than done. There are not many places you can stop, and then the woods they're not easy to walk through because they're sort of tangled with brambles and you want to try and maintain the altitudes you are going up and down hills. You wouldn't, if you were down here, you wouldn't go up there because they're hellish steep. The reason they are woodlands is because they're difficult to walk on. Sometimes even if you're fit, they're so steep you could easily lose your footing and be falling away down the slope. At the moment they're dominated by garlic, wild garlic and bluebells, both in full flower. Very nice it is too. So the garlic stinks to high heaven. And that's the worst of the very narrow road, where you're a bit scared of meeting somebody suddenly. I wasn't quite sure she wasn't going to go that far. It's a long old drag back from here, whichever way you go. You can go north and back past Ingleby, that's a long way really. Or you can go fisherman, I wonder what he was doing. I think better really going south through Helmsley. I think I'll come round here one evening and fly this drone over Rievaulx. There's two possible places. This isn't really one of them, except that you do have a good run across there towards it on the left. You see where you're actually going to be. You can't go along here because you lose it behind a hill, the line of sight. Left there, that's the Rievaulx Canal. See, it comes out there again. When the monks were at Rievaulx, they dug a canal, and the only real reason for it was to take the poo away, basically. Like I suppose they use it for fresh water too at the top end. It's a little bit cautious about where they got the water. Because the river then as now at the other side of the dale. Of the valley floor, so just for convenience they dug a channel taking a part of the flow through the abbey. This feels exactly the same as when you come out of Wars up towards the top of Sutton Bank and suddenly you join the main road, and it's a little bit similar because you come out of here, it's not quite so dramatic just at the top, but you join a really quite busy road going down to Helmsley. That's just a farm track goes to the left there. I don't think it's like a through road. It might be even goes just a field. When along the top of there, you see there's something that's called Rievaulx, and it's just a terrace overlooking Rievaulx Abbey with some like temple structures, which was built like follies. But these structures now they have interesting things inside. They aren't just like a shell. But anyway, that's owned by Natural England, if I got correct. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it's Natural England or might be the National Trust. And they quite ferociously they ban photography if it's used anywhere commercially, and drone flights, commercial or otherwise. Got to catch you, haven't they? Well, and what I'm saying, you could do it without even realising. You can fly from at least a mile away quite easily. What's going on here? With any vehicle, they do come quite fast. It's worse on Sundays though. In fact, it's not too bad at all at the moment. Oh, they both went in there. There are times I wonder if this has a bit of a slack tyre at the front. It just seems to sort of wallow. Did it there? It came out there and it just felt like you're trying to go straight ahead somehow. Let me just check it when I get back. I can tell you how literally flat because you're rolling away beautifully. I haven't got it in gear at the moment. If you have a flat tyre, the first thing you notice is it doesn't want to roll the same. Down a bit. But this road, it's a pleasure to drive on when it's not weekend. I mean, I'm stupid really. I could go any day of the week I wanted to run out, except with my bike or hotels. But I'll 9 times out of 10 go on the Sunday or sometimes the Saturday. I don't go on bank holidays though. But I think it's almost traditional, if you like, because I feel I quite like seeing other bikes and things like that on the road, you know, and because when you're at home you don't sort of see anyone for days then, so it's quite nice to like go somewhere busy. Well, that's what I used to think, but now I don't really think that so much. Because a lot of places are just too busy now. There's a combination of reasons. Generally more wealthy population with cars than vehicles. to see people who look incredibly brown who've been away on holiday or something, presumably. Must have been on the sunbed. She couldn't have got that brown in this country in 2 days. People are going at 30 mile an hour in the 40 zone, I don't know. You have usual turn signals like red flashes. Don't sound too keen on that. If you're not braking, they're sure alright. Bike's about, considering it's a weekday. It's always a bit surprising. I thought, oh, you start seeing lots of Germans because they're obsessed with going to the TT, but that's another week or two yet. But some of them will come early, so they'll sort of spend a week touring around to Northern England or the Lake District or something, and then go on to the Isle of Man, or they go to the Isle of Man early, because the Isle of Man is notorious for ripping people off with outrageous ferry charges, so I assumed if you go like a week beforehand it's at least a bit better. Now we're back on the familiar roads that we come on at least once a month, I would say, on average. Gear, I think I was in 5th there, I thought I was in 3rd.